After months of speculating, we finally have the answer to what the favor actually is. And I don't really know how I feel about it. Last night's episode of Smackdown finally saw CM Punk and Roman Reigns facing off with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins as a spectator to finally get the answer that we've been waiting on since November on what is the favor. For those that don't remember, CM Punk agreed to help the OG Bloodline in their War Games match against the Bloodline 2.0 and therefore was owed in favor by Paul Heyman. What that favor is, we have been trying to figure out ever since it was first stated, and CM Punk has held it very close to his chest. I mean, that man has not uttered a peep on what the favor could possibly be until last night. And Punk's favor is more nostalgic than anything else. Punk brought up the past and explained how once upon a time, Heyman told Punk that when it was his time to be a WrestleMania main eventer, he needed to make them deal with CM Punk and Paul Heyman together as a unit. And Punk is not forgetting that. He's not letting that go. So for the first time in 4 years, Roman Reigns will walk into WrestleMania alone. There will be no Usos. There will be no Solo Sikoa. There will be no Sami Zayn. And there will be no wise man Paul Heyman. Because Paul Heyman will be entering with CM Punk. This is where things got a little iffy because Roman, the egotistical ass that he is, y'all know I love, he was very cocky, thinking that there was no way Paul was going to agree. But Paul didn't have a choice. He could not say no to Punk because Punk did that huge favor for him with War Games. Without CM Punk, Roman Reigns and the OG Bloodline would have been annihilated by the Bloodline 2.0. So Heyman owed this to Punk. And even still, I think he probably wanted it. We all know how important CM Punk has been to Paul Heyman. He is probably one of Paul Heyman's favorite people on the roster, and they call each other best friends. So now, after all these years, that CM Punk will finally be getting his moment. He will finally be main eventing. It only makes sense that he has Paul Heyman on his side. Roman didn't take too kindly to Paul basically saying, hey, I can't tell him no. And it ended up with him going to sleep. Now, here's my first problem with this whole favor segment. And we're just going to go into order. I understand that Seth is in the match, but why was he there? He very much only served the purpose once. And that was when he gave me Jerry Springer vibes with the, well, let's find out. It very much gave, early 2000s talk show host. All Seth Rollins did the whole segment was laugh at Roman's misfortune. Laugh that Roman didn't listen to him. Laugh that Roman has once again found himself in a mess that Seth Rollins will not help him out of this time. Now, my other problem is really the favor itself. I'm sorry. I personally am slightly disappointed. And it's not because I don't want to see Paul Heyman and CM Punk. I don't mind that. I think that's actually a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful story. It's a full circle moment for who CM Punk is as a person. He has been wanting this main event for so long, and it's been the one thing outside of Royal Rumble that has been just beyond his grasp for a majority of his wrestling career. However, that's what we're using the favor on. That's what we've been talking about for the last 6 months is just a walk-in for one night. One night only is all Punk was asking for. He didn't say, I'm taking your wise man back completely. He didn't say, he's mine. Like, they're just two guys arguing over the cute girl right now, But he didn't say he wanted Paul permanently. He said, I want Paul Heyman in my corner at WrestleMania. I'm taking you, Roman Reigns, outside of your comfort zone. Because when's the last time we've seen Roman without Paul Heyman in his corner? I mean, I can answer that. It was the Royal Rumble match against Seth Rollins. But even in that match, Roman was not all there. In that match, and it could be just because it's Seth. Seth was able to get into Roman's head like no other. And Roman did not have a wise man to snap him back into shape. He didn't have a wise man to make him realize what was at stake here. And it ended up in the match ending in a disqualification. He retained his title, but Roman wasn't all there. And honestly, I think we're going to get remnants of that same Roman in the WrestleMania match. Because Roman is going to be hurt. He's here. Biggest stage of all. His land. He said a million times before. He's not a main event. He's the main event. He is WrestleMania almost at this point. To Roman, I'm not saying that as, I'm just saying. So now he's standing there and he's going to be looking. And instead of knowing that Paul Heyman is behind him, instead of knowing Paul Heyman has his back, Paul Heyman is going to be standing on the opposite side of the ring. The chances of Roman winning are kind of slim to none at this point for me. And while I enjoy the playing out of the story, I just do feel like that after so long of wondering, after so many questions, the favor itself was a bit of a letdown. We have not heard a lot about Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Paul Heyman's relationship over the last few months. All we've heard is Seth saying how Punk is a cancer, how Punk shouldn't be here, how Roman should have took care of him when he had the chance. I don't really think that this played out storyline wise as much as it could have. There wasn't as many Easter eggs or anything to lead us along the way to this moment. And what now? We have 2 weeks until WrestleMania. Is Paul still going to be at Roman's side these next 2 weeks? Will Roman even be at Smackdown next week? Because without a wise man, what is Roman going to do? While I do not like, I won't even say that. While I'm not necessarily a fan of what the favor is, I do enjoy the way the story is playing out. I have been waiting for Roman and Paul to go their separate ways because I do think it's time for Roman to move on to a different era. He no longer needs to be the tribal chief. He no longer needs the Ula Fala. He no longer needs anything other than his name to be important. Roman Reigns in itself spells main event. Roman Reigns spells money. Roman Reigns spells WWE. He doesn't need the rest of it. It's time for him to move on to a different time, to a different era, to be different. Maybe get a little more character development going. I don't know, but it's time. So I have no problem with the way that part is playing out. I'm just very interested in why we drug this out for so long when it was just, hey, if I walk into WrestleMania, I'm walking in with Paul and you aren't. Now, while we're here, we'll just get into a very quick, I promise I'm going to keep this quick, rundown of some of the things that I did enjoy and not enjoy on last night's episode of Smackdown. LA Knight will officially defend his title at WrestleMania against Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf. And unless someone, Solo Sikoa, stops Jacob, I definitely think we will be seeing a new United States champion at the end of that match. However, I would be a fool if I ignored the presence of Solo Sikoa in this feud. Solo has wanted a title. Solo has been trying to bring back gold to the family since this time last year when Roman disappeared. Solo was trying to put the family on his back. He wanted to be the tribal chief. He needed to be the chief. And Jacob seems to be outranking him a little bit right now. Jacob isn't really taking direction from Solo anymore. He doesn't want to involve Solo in his decisions. And Solo is making decisions without questioning Jacob's opinion on them. So what's going to happen here? And this has to be the start of Jacob versus Solo, right? But where does that leave Tama? There's so many questions involving that. But I am excited to see that match, and I will give a kudos to both Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman for an amazing last man standing match. Even though I was very confused as to why we were doing yet another number one contenders match for the U.S. title, but hey, it got Jacob a WrestleMania match. I'll take it. Another match that was made official for WrestleMania is Naomi versus Jade Cargill, and y'all gotta know how excited I am about that. This is the very first time in, I believe, 19 years that a non-title women's match will take place at WrestleMania. And I believe this is the first time that two black women will have a non-title match at WrestleMania. I'm just proud of my girls, okay? I'm just proud of both women. They have been putting on an absolutely amazing feud on and off screen. If they are not on TV, they are going back and forth on Twitter with some of the craziest comebacks. Like, I believe that in one of the tweets, Jade even called Naomi a placeholder. And Naomi pointed out that Jade is not the one who won those women's tag titles the first time. Shots are being fired left and right, and I'm so excited about this match. I'm a little skeptical because it does not seem like we're getting a stipulation added, which I'm okay with. If you haven't watched it yet, I made a Naomi agenda video, which I'll make sure to link down below, which talks about how I would like this storyline to play out through SummerSlam. I see this WrestleMania match ending in a disqualification if there is not any form of stipulation added. There's no way Naomi is going to not try to pick up something to beat Jay's head in. Like, that's just not going to happen. Naomi has not stood tall in a single interaction with Jade since it was revealed that she was the attacker. Hell, since Jade came back at Elimination Chamber. So I'm very interested to see how these next 2 weeks play out and how the WrestleMania match itself plays out. No matter what, though, I'm proud of these two ladies. Extremely proud. One match that will not, however, be happening is Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens has suffered a neck injury of a very serious degree, it seems, because it will require neck surgery. So before we say anything else, I just want to wish Kevin all the best and thank him for all the years of entertainment. We have to understand that these people put their bodies on the line day in and day out. And especially Kevin, these last few months, has gave us a lot of entertainment at the expense of his own body. So thank you, Kevin, and I wish you a speedy recovery. I cannot wait to see you back in the ring. I really hope we get to see you back in the ring. And if not, which I really hope is not the case, if not, thank you for every bit of what you've done for the wrestling world. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I really don't want to talk about this, but I would be remiss if I didn't. Wrap that Tiffany and Charlotte feud up right now. Right now. As a Charlotte fan, both of them made me cringe so hard last night. I did not like that promo. I didn't like it. And I understand that we do enjoy when people bring real life situations in. I just do not think this one was done well. It's probably because we've been complaining about the promo abilities throughout this whole feud that I'm just kind of like, I don't think this is what it needed. Charlotte couldn't get a word in edgewise. Tiffany used exactly what Charlotte said on her earlier talk show interview against Charlotte. And Charlotte said the most cringe thing about Ludwig Kaiser being in her DM. The whole thing was a no for me. It was an absolute no. It was very obvious it was off script. It was very obvious that there might be something real life brewing underneath. I don't like it. It seems like the Chicago crowd got to Charlotte a little bit. So it just makes me question if she was ready for what the WWE universe can give. I don't know, but I am very excited for Mania to get here so that feud can close and we can move on to the next chapter for both of these ladies because they're both amazingly talented and this feud is not helping either one of them. We now also know that Motor City Machine Guns is the #1 contender for the Street Profits WWE Tag Team titles. My question is, though, is this match happening at Mania or just a random Smackdown match? Nobody said anything on Smackdown as to when the match would happen, just that it was happening. I'm curious. I would really love to see the Street Profits get a WrestleMania match, so I'm hoping that it makes its way there. Another potential WrestleMania match in the making is Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, and Damian Priest has officially laid down the gauntlet. I believe last night's vignette, backstage segment, promo, whatever you want to call it, was one of Damian Priest's best. He practically laid out point by point why Drew McIntyre has been absolutely wrong about him. Oh, I cost you WrestleMania? No. That was your obsession with CM Punk, and I just took advantage of the moment. Oh, I cost you Money in the Bank? No. That was you. I loved it. Drew himself has even mentioned that he does not understand why his feud with Damian is getting so much hate and that the fans are not giving him and Damian a chance to lay it out. This feud is months in the making. It goes back to this time last year when Damian cashed in on Drew, who was only able to hold the World Heavyweight Championship for less than 6 minutes, I believe. I personally am very excited about this feud. I hope it's not a one and done. Drew did an amazing job with his trilogy with CM Punk last year. And while I'm not expecting it to be that level, I'm just hoping that him and Damian put on a match to finally shut all of y'all the hell up. Smackdown also saw the debut of Rey Fenix, who is officially a signee and a member of WWE Smackdown. In his debut match, he faced Nathan Frazier in what I would say was an amazing match. As y'all know already, I have not watched any of his previous material because he was in AEW and I do not watch AEW, even though I'm about to because of the Tony and Mariah thing, but I digress. So this was my first showing of Rey Fenix. I knew he would be good because of Penta, but seeing him and the likes of Nathan Frazier go at it in the ring was awe-inspiring. They had so many moments that I was just taken aback because these two put on such a great bout. Honestly, I also can't wait to see Fraxium brought up to the main roster. I promised y'all I would keep this short, so we're going to wrap this up by talking about the gauntlet match set to take place to crown the #1 contender for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. The winner of this gauntlet match will go on to face Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. There are 5 women's teams in the match, which include Kaden and Katana, Lyra and Bailey, Zoe Starks and Shayna Baszler, B-Fab and Michin, The Secret Hervis, and Maxine and Natalia. My only real problem with this match is, why is Lyra in it? Lyra needs to be getting her own match to defend her title at WrestleMania, not to try to grab someone else's, but okay. And also, why are the Metaphor girls not in it? Where is Lash and Jakara? I understand that they're over on TNA handling business, but we couldn't have put them in this match also? Truthfully, I don't have a favorite pick to win this match. I'm just interested to see how this gauntlet plays out, and glad that the women's tag team titles will be defended at WrestleMania. So let me know down in the comments, what was your favorite moment on SmackDown last night, and how are you feeling about CM Punk's favor? Was it disappointing, or was it exactly what you expected? Make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on post notifications if you like what you see so that you'll get notified the next time I post. Until next time, bye guys.